I started the channel in 2011, like the text said, just as a way to entertain my friends and entertain myself. You know, I uploaded a lot of vloggy type videos, random stuff that I filmed on like my computer's webcam. You know, I didn't really think it would go anywhere. The first video that I uploaded was called Ping, and I don't have any recorded evidence of it. I don't have any backups or anything. It's gone. It's 100% gone. I didn't know that privating videos existed at the time. I actually didn't even really know that until my freshman year of high school. I deleted all of my videos that I didn't want people to see. The whole video was pretty much just 40 seconds of me sitting at my computer going like this and, you know, looking around the camera, not looking at the camera, and, you know, reading a book, playing games on my phone or whatever. And then literally at the last split second, I just yell ping and the video ends. It was the first video I ever made. And it's so silly because I had to have my hand on the mouse. I was recording through YouTube, so I had to have my hand on the mouse and then click stop recording as soon as I said ping. You could see it in the video if I could show you the video. You know, I'm glad that I've come a very long way from that. But also, the video that is first on the channel now, the Pepsi Max drink video, was inspired by my boss, the man that I work for. His name is Kurt, and that's where the original video's name came from, called Pepsi Max Kurt Style. He does this thing where he's up on stage in front of everybody and just takes a swig of water like he's some sort of superhero. I just thought it was really funny, and it'd be funny if I did it while drinking Pepsi. So, that's the first video on the channel, and then when that one made 100 views, I made a second one, and now they're both over 300, I think. Hi, I'm Noah. I started Reno Forever Films, and I write a lot on the channel. I do all of the editing and VFX. I sort of co-direct things, and I run everything on the channel. Done a lot of music type things before, but I'll get into that a little bit later. I'd say I'm a pretty funny guy, but I think my comedy is so advanced that no one else knows that I'm funny.
I'm Caleb Riedel. I have been a member on this team since freshman orientation, so it's been a 4-year journey going along with my friends and stuff. Ryan, Noah, Bryce, Ian, Eric, those guys. Has been like a really wonderful journey. You know, I'm going off to college soon to Northern Michigan University, and you know, on the team I was basically at one point or several points I was a director. At some points I was a cameraman, you know, actor extraordinaire, but I filled any roles that really needed to be filled.
My name is Ryan Pashney. I was around for the creation of the entire channel basically. I'm an actor, did a little bit of writing with the Heist. That's about it.
How we all met? Well, I don't know. Eric and I had a class together, and then I met Ian through some other means, and then through Ian I met Ryan, and then we all had lunch together. You and I met in 7th grade in Mrs. Peters' science class.
Which I don't remember at all, by the way. I remember meeting him.
You had pink hair at that point.
No, I didn't. I mean, I didn't have pink hair till halfway through, or like near the end of 7th grade.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, I dyed my hair pink because everyone told me. Well, I dyed it purple, and it came out pink because everyone told me, "Hey, you won't actually dye your hair." And I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna dye my hair," and so I did. But meeting people, yeah, I don't remember meeting you.
I don't remember meeting you.
But I do remember, like, the only thing I fully remember about us getting together was you inviting me to your house and to actually film Twinkie Heist. That was the first time I was over at his house.
Yeah.
Right after orientation.
We had like our lunch group.
Yeah, I don't remember that though, which is weird. So
I mean, it was you, me, Eric, Ryan, Ian.
I don't remember
and then,
that
like
at all.
sometimes Bryce, and then like sometimes
But
like other people. I don't know.
Ryan I met actually in 7th grade English, and we were both just in the back of the classroom, and then we started talking and stuff, and he was just a cool guy, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna gravitate towards him, and I think that's why I sat at the table, because Ryan was there, and then just got introduced to the rest of the group.
I think I met Bryce in 7th grade English too, or 8th grade English.
I think I met Bryce 7th grade also, and
so it's been like a 6-7 year journey here coming up. 6 year journey of us just knowing each other.
Yeah, I mean,
disgusting.
I knew Eric a long time ago. We used to go to the same church, and that's where we met. And he was more friends with this other guy than me, and I was friends with him. So we were just friends by association. But then when we came into 8th grade, we actually really became friends. So that was like a really cool kind of coming together again. So, but yeah, I don't remember meeting you at all. I don't even remember meeting Ryan. I just remember being in class eventually with Ryan.
I don't have a memorable face, so it's fine.
But I like you now.
My name is Ian, and I've been helping with our films a while now, and I'm usually the dumb character, and I usually have a lot of fun just filming with the guys.
Deathly Debate was the first skit type video I put on the channel. I had just previously learned how to do cuts, jump cuts, stuff like that. And I kind of wanted to put my skills to the test in an actual editing program to see if I could even do anything. That sketch in particular took a lot of inspiration from my brother because he made a video exactly like it. Very similar in a lot of ways, in almost every way. There are only a couple differences here and there. But I did that with my friend Sam, and then actually the day after we filmed that, we did another video called The Mafias. It was a 2-part video. We filmed it all in one day, I think. It was sort of a, like, hey, let's go out and film something. There was no effects or anything. It was just pretend. There wasn't any sound effects. It was just all cut together, and mind you, it was cut together very poorly. But it was a fun project that we could do together. And earlier in the year, I made a remake of it called The Original Scene Christmas Edition, where I literally took that video and I hand-tracked Santa hats onto us, and I added normal visual effects and stuff to all of the shots. Wasted about 6 hours of my day just doing the Santa hats alone. That's the sacrifices that I make for my YouTube channel. Twinkie Heist was a series that I came up with, well, just the original video I came up with in an airport in North Carolina. The two words just came together in my mind. I don't even like Twinkies. I don't like most of like the Little Debbie cake products or the Hostess cake products, but the two words just came together in my head and sounded really good, so I went with it. I wrote the script out in the airport on like my little $200 laptop and got the guys together, and on our freshman orientation day we got home from taking pictures and getting our schedules, and we filmed. There wasn't any kind of serious visual effects or anything. It was, super fun, something that started what we do as friends and as a team. My role in particular was the character Paston. secret agent, or but 134. Those numbers don't actually mean anything because I was the only agent at the company. I really liked the character that I played, just kind of like a naive yet headstrong sort of, I wouldn't even consider him a secret agent as I would just like a guy that's trying to beat people up. And overall it was just a really fun short, and it was a really fun series.
Twinkie Heist was it was a really weird thing that we did. It was our first piece, and it just kind of morphed into this kind of inside joke between us all, and it was really what just pushed our group together. I mean, that was where like the friendship really like became concrete. We had known each other, and we had hung out a couple times before then, but really Twinkie Heist was the time that we were like, hey, we're friends now. We want to do this filming thing. Captain Jonas Kirk was a really weird character. I mean, he had that Russian accent that was terrible, and throughout the series you can see that accent change several times, and sometimes I messed up pronunciations, and like that was my first acting gig, so a lot of the time I would mess up words, and I would spend like 10 minutes just trying to get this one sentence or phrase out, and it was just a really cool kind of project series to work on as a group.
I played the Colonel in the Twinkie Heist, and that was my really breakout role, and it felt like we were creating a masterpiece, and looking back on it, I mean, it was fun to make, so.
Dimension Jumper was a series that I had really high hopes for. I really wanted it to be, I don't know, not only the best thing that we did on the channel, but overall something that I can move on with and be proud of. Which, I'm not saying I'm not proud of it, but it's definitely not where I wanted it to be, and that's due to me. As a creator, I wasn't where I am now. If I were to make it today, it would be completely different. I probably would have taken that serious tone away that it had. I think being a filmmaker that only had a $60 camera and Premiere and After Effects with limited knowledge of those programs, might I add, it was not what it could have been. And if I were to remake any series, it would definitely be that one. My role in Dimension Jumper was the role of DJ, which I wrote it that way on purpose. DJ is short for Dimension Jumper because not even smart writing, it's just lazy writing. Being very forward about that. That was 100% just me being lazy. I really enjoyed playing that character as well. Being what it was supposed to be was I was gonna be this brainiac high schooler, already graduated high school and was going to college, and they were only like 16, and they met Stephen Hawking, and they found this device and they studied it for a long time and took it to all the big scientists and couldn't really figure out what it was. But that backstory kind of strayed away, and unfortunately got left behind. I did write another novel for another class. Kind of develops the story of Dimension Jumper as it goes from origins all the way to a tie-in to another book that I wrote, and I might release that one day, I might not. A lot of Dimension Jumper was also supposed to be just visual effects training, because when I first figured out how to properly do visual effects, I really got into it and I really enjoyed it, and I really wanted to further my skills in that matter. With the teleportation specifically, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really basic, but could be really good if used as much as possible. And then with the fifth one, we sort of took it to the next level with the VFX. Again, they're nowhere near where I am now. Where they were back then, I thought they were like the coolest things ever, especially since it was me. You're always more proud of yourself when you see the good crazy work that comes out of something. If you write a really cool song, you're gonna like that more than a song that someone else wrote. Not even because your song is good, but just because you made it and you're proud of it. Another character in Dimension Jumper was Kevin Jermaine Wilson, played by Tanner, and he couldn't make it onto this set, so he couldn't talk about his character. But he was supposed to be an orphan. I really enjoyed having the friendship relationship with Kevin and DJ. It's hard for me to write just like dialogue between two friends that isn't comedic dialogue. It was very hard for me to write emotional dialogue or emotional scenes in Dimension Jumper, just because that's not really what I was used to at the time. I've definitely gotten better at it with my writing and whatnot, but at the time that was a little bit difficult. Dimension Jumper is one of my favorite series that we've made out of the 2 series that we've made. But Dimension Jumper episode 5 is up there with some of my favorite videos.
So Dimension Jumper was one that we really wanted to do a lot of the new VFX that Noah wanted to try, and so it was a kind of fun experience where we switched up styles. You know, you saw that Japanese style with the mouths not matching the words, and you saw all these separate fight scenes and cool stuff that we did, and so as my character, the generic lackey or whatever, I think that was one of the times where acting wise I tried to step up, but sometimes it just didn't come out right. I thought I could be a dramatic actor, but it just didn't work out so well sometimes. But yeah, it was a fun role, and working. That one was one that worked over a period of time, so you could see that we started in winterish and then came out in the spring, and so that was it was an absolute joyride, and probably one of our longer projects that we worked on.
In Dimension Jumper, I played the Plane Meister. I got to have a cool cape, and I think cool voice. We might not have done a voiceover for that. I had gloves.
We did. We deepened voice when you got mad.
Deepened voice when I got mad.
Go on.
It's good. That's it.
Okay. The Chocolate Milk War of 1986. Where to start? That video was created out of an inside joke. The Chocolate Milk War of 1986 was something that we all came up with sitting around at lunch one day, and we just thought it was the funniest freaking thing ever. No context, no anything, just the Chocolate Milk War of 1986. And then when I took the class that I'm currently recording this in, I was told that there was a video contest and that I need to write a video and make a video. I did so with the Chocolate Milk War of 1986. I wrote out that script, and it turned out better than I expected it to be. It was a really rainy day when it happened. I actually broke my iPod riding my bike home from school. It was a very rainy and miserable day, and filming in the woods was definitely not an easy task. But it was a pretty fun video nonetheless. That chocolate milk that we had in it was never, ever dranken. The chocolate milk we had was never drinked. And it went bad. It was in my refrigerator for about 1.5 years after that. I come from a family with a very rich history in music. Almost every single one of my family members can sing or play guitar or play multiple instruments. I'm kind of the one that didn't get any of that. And not to say that I couldn't have learned an instrument or two, but it didn't come as easy as it appears to have come for other family members, such as my brothers or cousins. I did upload a lot of music. At one point I was doing a lot of rap and song covers and stuff at one point in my life. I was uploading them to a separate music channel that I had, and I was also uploading them here at one point. And I put them on SoundCloud and Bandcamp and stuff, and at one point I just kind of decided that despite not being terrible at music and whatnot, it just wasn't what I wanted to focus on, because despite everyone in my family having a musical background, I just took to other things, and I plan to continue making music, just not as regularly as I do videos.
So Waldo was one of the productions that I was basically like, hey, I think I can be a director of some sort. I had just gotten a camera for Christmas, and I wanted to put my directing chops to the chopping block, as it were. And so with Waldo, basically, I had seen a video of this guy doing like a cool Waldo, like a cool guy Waldo, and I kind of wanted to emulate that. So it wasn't entirely original. It was actually a radio and TV project that I had. So you had to make like a 30-minute piece. Obviously, it didn't come out to be 30 minutes. It came out to be 20 minutes. But I worked hard on that one. I edited that one all solo, all by myself, and then it wouldn't come out. So then Noah re-edited it, and so that's what you see in the final production is Noah's edit. I kind of liked my edit version better, but he did a good job with it, and all over it came across the same points as I did. And I was glad that the guys were so willing to help me make my first piece.
Journal was an experimental short film. It says it in the title on the YouTube video. I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted with it. I had written it and I thought that it was gonna be really cool, but it ended up being honestly one of the few videos that I'm not super proud of. I liked all of the characters, but I didn't like the way we portrayed them. And all of the action and all of the dialogue was just sort of forced to me. I'm really thankful that everyone in it was in it. We did have a lot of people in it, and namely Lars, my foreign exchange student German brother, I guess I would call him. He came to America for a couple weeks, and in that period of time we filmed Journal, and it was really cool. He was definitely the best actor out of all of us, and he surprised me with how well he operated the camera. And I'm really thankful that he was in the video. It definitely helped convey what I wanted to convey, but again, despite being good, it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. And that also is partly due to where I was with editing and whatnot. I wasn't that good yet. But I guess if there were a short that I would recreate, it would probably be that one. The Heist, Ryan and I co-wrote. You came up.
I
with,
came
like,
up with the concept.
with the concept and the characters, and then I like wrote it out and wrote it.
Yeah, you wrote the story basically. I wrote the world.
The heist was really fun. We all how much character development that we had, and all the things that came with it. It was our first like top quality production.
Yeah, they're probably my favorite characters as well. They had a lot of stuff in it that we really didn't even need to use, we didn't need to show on camera, but there's a lot of really cool stuff.
And no one died.
So my character in the plot, originally I was supposed to be Ryan's character, the smooth-talking leader of the group, but we felt that that Ryan was more charismatic, and he kind of had that trait that was just, hey, I know what's going on all the time, and so we went with him, and I got to be the explosive expert. And this was the time where we really started to branch out location-wise, and
We got cars.
we got cars. So yeah, we finally found like we could do as much as we wanted to. And then again, this was one of the longer pieces that was just it was spread out over multiple film days over multiple weeks, and I think it took a month or something to make. But yeah, and then obviously you have Noah, who's just gonna crush at editing it as soon as he can. So we get the footage, and then immediately that night he's gonna go ahead and edit that footage, and then he cranks it out the next day. So.
Oh, the Star Wars trailer. That one has a pretty interesting story behind it. I really wanted to make a Star Wars video. Like, Star Wars Episode 7 was getting ready to come out, and I just really wanted to make a Star Wars video. And granted, I was months behind when Star Wars came out. We hadn't even started filming yet. I actually had a script written before Star Wars Episode 7 released, but unfortunately we didn't use that script even. It was gonna be a full-on short. We were gonna have a girl actor, we were gonna have 3D, I was gonna get someone to 3D model spaceships, so I could put them into the video and stuff, but unfortunately that just didn't happen. It was a similar premise. It was still called Star Wars White Rogue, which, mind you, I came up with before Rogue One came out. Everyone was like, oh, you're just copying Rogue One, like, nah. No, I wrote the script before Star Wars Episode 7 even came out, so don't give me that. I thought it was a really cool video. I thought all the visual effects in it were really good for where I was. I really enjoyed doing lightsaber effects. I don't know if that's clear with all of the fight scenes and all of the Star Wars tests that I've done. It's not even that, because yes, I'm a big fan of Star Wars, but if lightsabers were in any other series, I would like that series too, because lightsabers are just really cool, and since I can make myself have lightsabers. But I mean, there was also the lightning, and there was the there was the kick that Ian did. There was just all of the laser firing and stuff, and I think VFX wise it's one video that I'm probably the most proud of. There are better VFX in other videos, but as a collection of VFX, that's top 2. So, in July, Caleb and I were going to Tennessee, and I pitched him the idea of leaving the Reno Forever brand behind and starting the RF Films brand, changing the logo, changing the name, changing the look. And he liked the idea, and the main reason I wanted to do this was to treat Reno Forever less as a YouTube channel, but more as a business. I like running things organized. I like being able to hand out business cards and be like, hey, if you need a video made, I can make you a video. Granted, I got 500 business cards, and I haven't handed out any. But I really like the logo. It was one of the first things that I designed. I made it entirely from scratch. My previous logo, I had used elements from other things. The infinity symbol wasn't mine. The circle wasn't mine. So it felt good to make something entirely brand new. that no one can ever use elements from because I have all of those elements. And, you know, we had our previous logos. There was many logos. If I can find all of them, I'll put them up. But, yeah, we had what's the first logo? The TARDIS and the Pokeball, that one. Which, granted, that was cool. It was just too many copyrighted images. And then we changed from the TARDIS in the Master Ball to just an infinity symbol that had Reno written in it. But I was told by someone that it looked like a tattoo, like a tramp stamp, like a girl would get on her butt or something. So I took that and I changed it. I stayed up until like 3 a.m. designing the logo that I had for like 2 or 3 years because a girl that I went to school with in 2nd and 3rd grade told me that it looked like a butt tattoo. But then we had the previous logo to the one that there's now, which is just the square with the RF, which went through multiple phases. I was gonna go with another circle design, but I ended up going with not a circle design. I liked the square. The square actually also went through multiple phases, one with color, one without color, one that had more slits in it. And the logo design process was actually between Caleb and I both, and we both came up with 3 or 4 different logo designs, and then we went to everyone that we knew, and we were like, hey, which one of these is best? And we did sort of like a poll, and the square one won. The square one won, and I'm pretty happy that it did. It was definitely my favorite out of the 4 that we had. So basically the fight scenes...
I like them.
Yeah, I like them too. So basically the fight scenes are just these collaborative efforts of improv fighting that we do to not only practice my VFX, but just practice our
practice camera shots,
work
all
and,
sorts of
and whatnot.
things. Not practice writing, just practice filming and doing stuff.
Yeah, the out.
Because you need inspiration to write. You just kind of
right. And just doing improv stuff has always come easiest to us.
yeah.
And also,
like the insult.
Yeah, the insult was one of those. We also do all of our own stunts.
Yeah, a lot of skinned knees.
Yeah, lots of pain, lots of sand in
pockets,
in pockets, and in the unmentionables. But yeah, the fight scenes are among my favorite videos. Yeah.
Quickest to make and plan.
Yeah.
So Monster Hunters is one of the ones I'm more proud of. That was one where I wrote it and I directed it. And I was really glad Noah and Ryan were so willing to help me and stuff. And we had a really fun journey on that one. It was for a monster movie contest. Noah actually didn't want to do the contest at first, but I was like, hey, I wanna do this. I wanna put my directing up against other people. And I ended up writing an entire script that was not what came out. I scrapped an entire script and then replaced it with what you see now with Monster Hunters. The original script was like 2 guys stuck in a house, and then there was a monster outside, and I was having trouble finding locations and actually like figuring out how to do that, and I just ended up coming up with an entirely new idea, which is what you see in Monster Hunters. So Library Cops was also one of mine. It was one that it was kind of a Mad Libs type deal for coming up with the idea. Basically, you know, I was just thinking, originally I wanted to do this idea of a series where it was just like wacky jobs, and one of the ones that came up was Library Cops. I still have a list somewhere of the rest of them, but Library Cops was one that I actually pitched to the group, and they actually really liked it. So Noah kept bugging me. I was like, I don't have the equipment right now because I wanted to get vests and I wanted to get all this other stuff, and Noah was like, come on, Caleb, we gotta film this. I really want to film this. And so scripting wise, I got it all up, and we ended up shooting it, and everything went awesome. Some of the running scenes I wish would have gone a little smoother. The camera was literally just shaking out of control, but overall, you know, I really liked how it came out. We actually just went into the river on that one scene, and it was
shirtless in that one.
Yeah.
Gross.
It was so much fun, and it was just a really, you know, I thought really weird, wacky idea that I'm really glad we got to film.
Donut was a video that I made out of pure boredom. I had a plugin for After Effects that allowed me to make 3D objects. I think it's Trapcode Tau, and I was like, whoa, I can make a circle. What are circles? And then I found a donut texture online, and I put it on, and I just animated it flying around the screen. And my girlfriend liked it so much that I made 4 more, and I will be making another one. I don't know when I'll be making another one, but trust me, it'll be good. But yeah, Donut is just a crazy, random thing. The way I'm doing each episode is 3 or 4 things in each one, corresponding to what number it is. So Donut 1 only had a donut in it. Donut 2 had 2 donuts. Donut 3 had 3 donuts. Donut 4 had 2 donuts, but a bow and arrow, or a bow and an arrow. And Donut 5 had 4 donuts and the Donut Eater Man. And everyone I've shared it with just thinks it's really funny. A lot of the people in my class think it's just so random and weird that it's good in a way. I add those elements of weirdness into them, like when the donuts overlap each other, but in reality one is behind the other, and doesn't make sense, and it's weird, and I like it. It's really abstract, and if I were to make an animation live action, Donut would be what I would do. Eternity Complex is probably the short film that I'm most proud of. It's really well written, to me at least, and a lot of our angles and color correction was pretty good, and I think all of our acting was good. I think there were some really funny moments, and I think there were some really well written moments, like Caleb's entire monologue at the end is very close with the monologue that Ryan had in Dimension Jumper Part 5. I think that the intro sequence is really good. I think my music choice was really good, and just overall I'm pretty proud of it. It's kind of the first video that has more advanced visual effects techniques, but also it's the best we did with combat, I think. That whole scene where Caleb is just beating the crap out of me is a really fun to watch scene, despite it being me getting, you know, my trash kicked in. Speaking of the intros, I decided to go with pre-made intros once I discovered that they existed. Not even really that, it's just that I was so adamant to use presets for a very long time because I liked creating my own content. I liked using my own things. I didn't want to use something and then see it somewhere else later. But regardless of that, I think that all of the pre-made intros look really good, and I've customized them enough that I probably wouldn't even recognize them if I saw them somewhere else. Abhorrent Aperture. And yes, that's how you say it if you were wondering. The Abhorrent Aperture was not only a VFX experiment, but also an experiment to see if I could play a bad guy. We sort of touched on that in Monster Hunters, but it wasn't as in-depth as I wanted it to be. So, I wrote Abhorrent Aperture, the short film, and I say that for reasons that I'll talk about later. I wrote Abhorrent Aperture to be a supervillain story, not a superhero story. Yes, there are superheroes in it, and yes, the superheroes win, but at the same time, there are victories for the supervillain. And I think it's a really cool concept to explore, me being evil. But again, also the visuals in it were pretty good. We had some 3D mixed in there, we had a lot of 2D lasers and stuff. I didn't explain the powers very well, but also just the powers. You know, there's multiple powers, like teleportation, again, a very basic effect that I've known how to do for a very long time. But we also had the telekinesis effects, which were a mix of practical and digital, or reversing footage. And then we had the super speed, which of course is just speeding up the footage and adding a blur. But I thought it was pretty cool how we did the walking shot with Ryan and Caleb walking down the side of the road, but Caleb is zooming in and out and Ryan is staying normal. There actually are some problems in that shot, and if you are determined enough to go find them, do it. So Deadland was a project that we took a really long time to work on. It was a project that I wanted to introduce people like Hannah. I wanted to introduce locations. I don't know what just happened. But I also wanted to do new effects. I wanted new concepts, and a lot of the effects in it I made myself. I didn't use tutorials. I wanted to make this all my own, and I think I successfully did that. I captured the tone that I wanted to catch, and there was things that I thought were very wrong with it. But at the end of the day, it was a really cool concept and a really cool video. Alright, so Anime Rock Paper Scissors, it actually may not even be out yet by the time that this is uploaded. It may be out. It's still a work in progress.
Oh,
but,
yeah. It's funny because I'm not even the one who's watched like Dragon Ball Z or anything, or like we watched a little bit of like Pokemon, and it's just supposed to make fun of, or not really make fun of, just a parody the ridiculousness of anime fight scenes.
Yeah, and Ryan came up with the idea and the concept for it. He just kind of pitched it to me one morning, and I was like, whoa, that's hilarious, and that's a really good idea. And there's literally nothing like it on the internet. I've looked. There's one thing called Anime Rock Paper Scissors, and it's really stupid and dumb, and I hate it.
And we're not stupid.
And we're not stupid and dumb. But I really wanted to capture the essence of anime, so there's a lot of anime tropes in there. There's going to be a lot of wacky sound effects, and all all of the effects are like in a 2D drawn anime style.
Cool.
And as we're talking, it's not done yet, and I'm excited to finish it.
Yeah, I'm excited to finish it too. This one's gonna I'm actually really excited to see this one because it's the last one.
Yeah.
So.
Besides Snafu,
which is gonna be way freaking, it's gonna rock your socks off.
So, the last project for Reno Forever Films is called Snafu. This is the first actual information that's being released about it, and it's pretty crazy. It's going to be a really long movie. We're taking a road trip to Vegas. The plot of the movie follows our characters traveling across the country to find something, and I don't want to release any details because it's just too good to give away. And I'm really excited for it, and I'm really excited for you guys to see it. We don't have anything filmed yet, but it's gonna be good. We have music, we have original music, we have an original score written by my brother, we have so many effects and so many costumes and so many props, and we're all really excited to start it. And it's gonna be the last project that we all do together. So there's that too.
The entire journey of RF Films has just really just been a couple of guys that who found it that having fun didn't have to be, you know, just playing video games or just, you know, doing what everyone else was doing, dances or doing drugs or doing any of the stuff that you know, we were finding most teenagers were doing. We found that we could have our own fun if we did things like filming. It was interesting, it was different every time. We just had a blast with it, and I think RF was just kind of the culmination of my high school career, and it was just everything that like represented the changes, and you see it from the very beginning, from Twinkie Heist all the way to what you're seeing now with going back to Monster Hunters, going to the Star Wars Rogue trailer, and so you just see that this transition is through high school. This is what we did to represent ourselves, and it's something that I'm going to be looking back on, you know, when I try and tell my kids about what it was like when I was in high school. It's going to be these videos and just showing how, you know, we had fun in our own way, and I think that was such a special thing that the RF Films gave us.
What RF Films means to me, it's kind of hard to put into words. It's like saying how much do you love your child or your family. It's just one of those inherent things where you just do. You can't really put a number on it. You can't really put a limit on it. I care about it. It's this thing that I've built from the ground up. It's this concept that I had, this idea that I had that I just wanted to go and do, and I rolled with it, and I kept with it, and I stuck with it. It's changed multiple times throughout the years, but I don't really see it as much of change as I do, you know, adaptive progress. It's gotten better. Nothing has gotten worse, and it's, I don't know, it means a lot to me. I plan to continue doing what we've done here on the channel. I continue to do stuff on the channel, but it's just one of those things where this is mine. You know, I built it, and not a lot of people have seen the channel. Not a lot of people know about what goes on the channel. A lot of people have seen the videos, but regardless of my status on the internet, I'm proud of what I've made, and I will continue to grow it and make the best out of what I'm given at all times.
RF Films is all about the blooper reels and creating something that like is fun, but at the end of the day we can be proud of. We're not like the most highly esteemed film crew, but when we don't do things very efficiently, but when we can, we get the job done, and we have a lot of fun doing it, and that's what RF Films is to me.
But yeah, that's that.
I think with creative individuals like Noah and Caleb, sometimes you just need to kind of give the opportunity to them and get out of their way. And I think one of the probably the best thing I could have done to help with their creativity in their filmmaking process is to do just that. Give them a medium, give them resources, give them opportunities, but let them run with their creativity to kind of explore on their own. I'm a big believer in individuals creating their own learning, and I think those two individuals have done that tremendously without me being interfered with from my end. The one thing I'd like to leave maybe Noah and Caleb, I guess words of wisdom, which are few and far between from my perspective, but I think both of you be true to yourselves. You have your own styles, you have your own intuition, you have your own creativity, and I think continue to walk your own path. And I think if you do that and be true to yourself, be honest, push your own envelopes, but if you do that with your own kind of framework, I think tremendous things are going to happen. Never let someone tell you can't do something, you shouldn't do something, because I think each one of you will actually kind of march to your own drum and are going to do some amazing things.
Favorite video. If I were to say a favorite video, I think it would have to be Fantasy Fight. Fantasy Fight is a great video, just because, I don't know, it's good though. I like the effects in it and whatnot. I like the wizard wand and stuff. And if not that, then Eternity Complex maybe, or Deadland. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I liked in Deadland. It wasn't my favorite video, but there was a lot of stuff that I liked. You know, I like Monster Hunters a lot. It's hard to pinpoint a favorite video because there's so many, and you know they're all our babies. So I don't know. I guess it's between Fantasy Fight and Last Pepsi too. I like Last Pepsi a lot. Fantasy Fight, Last Pepsi, Eternity Complex. Any of the newer ones. I guess Abhorrent Aperture was pretty good too. That's how you say it too. It's Abhorrent Aperture. I know I made this clear, but it's, yeah.
So probably one of my favorite videos. It actually, I wouldn't say there's one favorite, but the kind of style I kind of gravitate towards, as like I really love to do, is the improv fights. So basically, what we do is we just go on location, and then we just we see what's around. We have kind of a gathering of guns and weapons and stuff, and then we just go at it. You know, with the RF Fantasy Fight. Overall, you know, those are my favorite to make, just because there's no real prep time. It's just go out there and then see what's funny, what's cool to do, just in the moment. And so that's my favorite.
Whenever you're ready.
If I had to pick a favorite video, you know, between obviously what Noah and Caleb have both been involved with, I couldn't pick one. I think anything from the one he did for the video competition, Noah's compilation video, and I'll go back to one of the original Chocolate Milk Wars. I think each one in their own right is a favorite of mine, because I've seen the progression of what they've been able to do, in addition to that, to what each video they try to accomplish in that video. I'm gonna give the very boring but basic answer of I really enjoyed them all.
RF Films is all about the blooper reels. I'm telling you, it's just about having a fun time and making something you can be proud of at the end of the day. So maybe we might not be like the most efficient film crew, but in the end, we've got a product that we are generally happy with, that we pick apart and destroy, and actually we hate. But I'm gonna start over.